Solo board gaming night here, and today I'm going to be reviewing World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King. Now this game is a pandemic style game. Personally, I've never played Pandemic, so I'm not going to be able to compare how faithful this is to that. However, this past Friday I did find Pandemic on sale for $17, so in the future I will be able to put these two against each other and see how they compare and which one I like most. As always, I like to show you how much space the board takes up on the table. So hopefully this gives you a rough idea of how much table space you're going to need. In my opinion, it's a fairly big board. Bigger than most games that I've played. The good thing about that is that once the board is laid out on the table, all you really need to worry about are the character cards. And I have a little play space right here for the cards. I have the hero deck with the discard pile, along with my dice tray. Up here I have the abominations and the ghouls, along with all the quests and cards that the game asks you to remove once you're done with them. On the very top, you see that I have my Scourge deck, along with the Scourge discard pile. So as you can see, once you do have this board game laid out, you really don't have to worry too much more about adding additional space once you do have it laid out, other than what I just showed and mentioned here. Now I want to bring to your attention the rulebook. Now in the unboxing, I did point out how well illustrated and how beautiful the art looks throughout the rulebook. What I did not know, however, during that time was how well written and laid out and organized and easy and clear to read this rulebook is. Unbelievable. I have never read such a clear and easy to understand rulebook like this one. The person that wrote this rulebook is truly a talented person, and I really hope they end up finding work on other board games so that future games that we play are as quick and easy to learn as World of Warcraft. Now, I will point out that World of Warcraft is not the most complex game I've ever played. However, it's also not the most simplified game I've ever played either. So that's why this rulebook is so impressive. And if one of your setbacks to a board game is you're afraid to have to learn another game, rest assured, this rulebook is probably one of the most painless rulebooks you will ever read. And that says a lot because I've read a lot in the last year, and this is the best rulebook I've ever read. So great, and I just needed to point this out and talk about it. Alright, so with the rulebook out of the way, the other thing I want to bring to your attention is the actual art itself. I fell in love with the art of this game. It looks beautiful from the cover of the actual box, everything in the box, within the box, to the art in the cards. I loved the art in this game. It's absolutely stunning. One of the things I really enjoyed is that none of the cards were doubles. You don't see doubles of any card. All of the cards are unique. All the art on every single card is unique. You'll never see the same card twice, even though it might be like, for example, this travel card, but you see the pictures are different. The art is different on every single card, and I just think that is so incredibly impressive. Another thing that I really liked are the characters themselves, the way they look and the way that they're drawn. I really think they look gorgeous. I loved the way that the characters were illustrated. And since we're on that, I just need to talk about the miniatures. The miniatures are very beautiful, high quality miniatures. Surprisingly, I did not expect that. I did mention it while I was unboxing it. However, I did not know how beautiful it was going to actually look laid out on the table. It's honestly one of the... I just think it's a gorgeous looking game. I cannot praise it enough. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I just have to show you this again, although I showed it in the unboxing, because I'm so very impressed. The game looks great. And when I had the game, like, you already see what it looks like set up here, but while I was playing it, I was just admiring the table. I loved it. I really did. It was just great. And one of the biggest highlights I loved it. I can't say anything other than that. I'm just going to keep repeating it. I loved it. So great. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking game. Now, a game could look beautiful. However, if it does not have gameplay to back it up, it really doesn't matter much, right? This is another surprise that I had with this game. Now, I don't know if it's because I've never played Pandemic before. This game actually has made me really excited to play Pandemic now that I ordered it. And before, the theme of Pandemic never called my attention. But if it's as good as this game, I'm in for a treat. I really, really loved this game. It was fun for me. In my opinion, it was fun. And one of the things that I was worried about, and I have to show you, are the dice. I really do not like, and I'm not a big fan of losing a game because you just are a terrible roller. And I don't know, I've never looked, but it feels like every single side of this die, or the dice, something good usually comes out of it. So there was never a time in my whole entire game that I rolled the dice and said, oh, this is terrible. And even if it was not as great, and it still wouldn't be a terrible roll, the way you could mitigate the dice with the actual cards that you play, some say add one fight if you're on your space, right? Sometimes it says add 2 fight to the dice. The game has a wonderful way to mitigate the dice and help it work in your favor. And not only that, the actual characters themselves, I'm shifting things around here, the actual characters themselves, their special actions and abilities off to the side are actually very helpful. All of them are. You should see, when I first started playing this game, the very first thing that happened, I could have sworn I shuffled that deck so hard, so much, but somehow this portion, the red portion here of the map, the region, was just overflowing. It was insane. I was like, well, it's going to be an automatic defeat. But because of the rolling dice, because of the way you could mitigate the rolls of the dice and the abilities that you're able to do with your characters, and it's even crazier if you have more than one character on a space. It really makes the game so much fun and entertaining. I want to say it feels very action-packed. This is a very action-packed game, and it's actually really fast too. It was a quick game. I don't know if it was that I was having so much fun with it, or if it was just a short. I believe it took me under an hour. I want to say about 50 minutes or so to beat this game. But wow, the time went by fast, number one. And number two, I just was having a blast while I was playing it. Now, I think that what made the game feel so good is just the way that you do your actions. Like the actions that you have to do, you literally either move, you have 4 actions that you have to take. And this is a review of how I felt playing it, not how to play it. But I'm just going to give you the gist of how this works. So you're going to have 4 moves, 4 actions per character. I did, and I want to mention, play the true solo version of this game. Now, the way you do the true solo version is you choose 3 characters, okay? And then you draw 4 cards. And you see this hand right here, this gauntlet, okay? Every time it's your turn, what you'll do, you'll start, like, for example, here. You do your 4 actions with that character. And then after your 4 actions, you're going to draw 2 cards from the hero deck. And from there, you're going to end up spawning ghouls from the Scourge deck depending on what scourge level you are on the track over here, that's how many scourge cards you're going to draw from the deck. And then after you're done doing that, you activate an abomination. So the abomination, what will happen is the abomination will move one step closest to the closest player that is near him, and once they land on that space, the abomination will attack for 1. So that's pretty much about it. And as far as how the game moves, okay. But what I like about it are the actions that you could take. The obvious, simple, just move. So I'm just going to grab this as an example right here. You could take one action, and every space is interconnected by a line, okay? So if I want to move to this space, that's one move. I'll have 3 actions left. And since I'm on the topic, what I ended up doing, I grabbed a die and I put it on 4. So I did my move, and once I did my move, I brought it down to 3. I did my move, and I brought it down to 2, and so on and so forth until I didn't have any more moves. I did that just for myself to keep track of how many actions I had left, because there are so many free actions you could take. And let me see if I could find one here. Yep. There's so many free actions that you could take sometimes, not only on your character card, but you can also take free actions on the cards that you get dealt in the beginning. That if you're not careful, you might confuse those free actions with an action taken. So I just use this die to make the game easier for me to follow and not accidentally make a mistake. So it just personally, it helped me understand and play the game a lot easier. So the objective of the game itself is there's these 3 quests that are going to be placed depending on what region. There's a red region, a green region, and a purple region. Okay, so there's going to be a quest on each region, and this quest is going to have a marker up here that you place right here. Okay, as an action, because one of your actions is that you quest, and what happens is on this quest you end up rolling the dice, and depending on how many fists you get, you move this around. However, another cool thing is, like, let's say if you have a card, a fight card on the upper left hand corner, you can get, like, let's say you're here, you could use that fight card and just automatically go and move on top of that space. If it's a fight card, for example, like let's say if you're here and you have a travel card, you could just contribute that travel card and move free apart from the successes that you roll. And if you have more than one character on your space, more than one hero on your space, they can also contribute a card. And what's cool about that is when you contribute a card, you do not discard the card. You don't discard it. You just contribute it. Like, okay, I'm going to contribute this one, but it stays in the hand. And then that's it. Now, once you complete the quest, after you do a quest, something bad does happen. Like in this case, you get damaged 3 times. And like, let's say if the Lich King was in the red space while you're questing, and this is what the quest markers look like, depending where it's at. Like right here, it'll say the Nexus. So you'll place the quest marker on the Nexus, which is over there where this one goal is off camera. I just don't want to move it right now. You have to be on those spaces on the board to be able to complete these quests. Once you complete these quests, there's going to be a card under here it's like a super powerful card that gives you like huge advantages throughout the game, and you could either decide to use them right away or not use them or just save them. Just keep in mind that if any of your characters die, you discard all your cards from your hands. Now, the difference between the multiplayer co-op version and the solo player, it's very similar. The difference is that instead of each player, in this case, getting 3 cards, I believe it's 3 for co-op. Yes, it is. What happens is for solo, you choose 3 characters and then you deal yourself 4 cards, and that's it. You use those 4 cards and you start moving. Like you'll make all your movements with this character, for example, do what you're going to do. After that, you're going to go ahead and deal 2 more cards from the hero deck, add them to here, and you cannot ever have more than seven cards in your hand. If you end up having more than 7 cards in your hand, you're actually going to have to discard down to 7 before you get to move on. So you can never ever have more than 7 cards. I never really had a problem with that mechanic. Actually, what it really did do, it incentivized me to constantly be using my cards. I was using my cards all the time, and they were so helpful. I never had like a useless card. I never felt like, oh, this is useless, I can't do anything with this. No, all of the cards actually did a really good job helping you out. Either accomplish a quest, heal a friend, add extra damage. It was just so well done. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, if the Lich King is either on in the same, you're in the same region as the Lich King. Let's say you're doing a quest there, they will attack you every time you finish a quest, because every quest attacks you. Okay, a certain amount of damage. Or if you're fighting a ghoul, let's say you're on the same space, when you do a fight action, you have to roll a dice, and for every fist that you roll, you take away 1 ghoul. Okay, however, like an abomination, if you want to fight an abomination, you need to damage that abomination 3 times in 1 turn to defeat them. So you would have to roll, you know, 3 damage, or use your cards to add damage to your roll to be able to defeat the abomination. Now, if ever you're gonna, let's say that this abomination's there, if ever you're gonna add more, like let's say that I'm here and there's 3 ghouls here, if I have to add another ghoul at the end of the turn through the Scourge deck, if I have to add a 4th ghoul, instead of adding that 4th ghoul, this is your despair tracker. Let me just show you right there. This is your despair tracker right here. If this despair tracker goes all the way down to here, you lose. Where was I? I was right here. I was right there. If it goes all the way to the bottom there, you lose. So every time there's 3 ghouls there and you have to add a 4th, you will move that track down by 1. Okay? Then you would grab an abomination from wherever you have your stack of abominations that are unused, and add the abomination. Now, why is that bad? Because you have to hit that abomination 3 times, and don't forget, after every turn, that abomination is going to walk 1 step closer, 1 space closer to your hero, and add damage to you as well. Also, let's not forget, if you are going to attack where the Lich King is, and let's say you got two attack and you take out 2 ghouls, well, every remaining ghoul and abomination that you did not defeat is going to attack you for 1. So I would get hit 1 point of damage. But also, since I'm in the Lich King's region, he will also hit me for another 1. But once again, if maybe you rolled a shield, you can mitigate that. Instead of getting hit twice, you'll only get hit once. And you might even have a card that could block you, and even some block damage for you. And there's some characters that actually do that for you as well. This is future me interjecting. I did want to add one more thing. In the excitement, I forgot to say this. If at any time you're going to add another ghoul or an abomination, and you have no more ghouls or abominations in the supply, you're going to raise that despair track 1 for every ghoul you cannot add and for every abomination you cannot add. Also, if you ever run out of hero cards and you need to draw hero cards as well, you will have to lower that despair or raise that despair 1 space for every card you're not able to draw. So as you could see, this game constantly has you moving as fast as you can, because if you wait too long, you are going to get overwhelmed. And finally, after you activate the abomination does its move, you just go ahead and use the player token, the active player token, move it to the next character, and you do the turn all over again. Sorry, my excitement sometimes gets the better of me. Back to the past me. This was a very simple but well thought out game, and I enjoyed absolutely every second that I spent playing it. Now, I will give you a little bit of advice. The game is easy when you play the way the game wants you to set it up. I did not do the introductory one. I did the normal version. However, there's different levels of difficulty that you could choose. And for the first game, it tells you choose these quests, and then choose these type of rewards to help make the game easier. Now, even with that, there was a struggle going on, because towards the end here, I just went for it. I just like threw a Hail Mary. I was like, I'm gonna do this. Let's just go. And I just aggressively attacked the Lich King the Citadel. I just went for it. And honestly, it was like I was gonna make it or I was gonna get destroyed. But the point is that I had fun doing it. I had a great time playing Wrath of the Lich King. I'm gonna say it. This was one of my favorite experiences of the year. I've played several, but this one stands out as one of the best games I've played in 2021. I really liked it that much. It was such a breath of fresh air. It was so enjoyable. It was so good. So much so, I'm going to play the original Pandemic and see how it compares and how much I like this one compared to that one. I just can't recommend it enough. The true solo of this game is great. The true solo is great. You're not missing anything, nothing at all. You're going to play the game exactly the same, basically, other than a few changes. The game plays exactly the same with multiple players as well as solo. It's the same thing, and it's golden. If you are into solo gaming, this is a must-buy. Go out there and get it. You will not regret it. You're going to like it. If you like cooperative games, get it. You're going to like it. This is a game that I'm going to introduce to my wife and kids. And chances are that my wife is going to like this very much, and so is my son. I just have a really, really good feeling about that. So I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one that would feel, I just know it. I just know it. It's that good, that much fun. However, one caveat, maybe if you've played Pandemic to death, remember, I've never played Pandemic, maybe this isn't for you. Or maybe this is so different from Pandemic that, I don't know, maybe if Pandemic wasn't for you, this one is. Pandemic's theme didn't do anything for me. This theme did everything for me. I loved it. So yeah, I just really wanted to bring this to your attention. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth having it in my collection. I'm so grateful that I got it. I was so hesitant. I was so hesitant to get it. I'm so grateful that I got it, because this is a game that I know that I'm going to find myself coming back to time and time again. Oh, this was a fun review. I had a great time. This was Solo Board Gaming Night. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you guys all have a great game night. Take care.